What's this structure here?
Labia minora.
And then here?
Labia majora.
This tissue here?
Is that a gland?
Spongy tissue. Mm-hmm. And then just behind it, that little pink round structure.
Great vestibular gland.
Greater vestibular gland. And its duct secretes onto the surface of the vestibule. And the vestibule is bounded by labia minora. So everything kind of within labia minora is part of the vestibule, including entrance to urethra and vagina. And at the entrance to the vagina is this partial partition, hymen, and these little ridges.
Rugae.
And this erectile tissue here.
Clitoris.
What part?
Gland.
Body.
And then this part here.
Gland.
Mm-hmm. This muscle here. And here. It's digestive system.
Internal sphincter of anus.
External anal
External.
sphincter. And then the smooth muscle in here.
Internal.
Uh-huh.
Smooth muscle.
So these are a gonadal artery and vein here coming down. They would be passing within the suspensory ligament of the ovary. So none of the models actually show that ligament, but they show the blood vessels that pass through it. So they do the same thing here. You can follow the blood vessels down, all the way down to the ovary. And then if you just wrap some connective tissue around those vessels, now you've got the suspensory ligament of the ovary. Yeah, but they want you to see the vessels, so that's why they're not showing the connective tissue around it. It's kind of hard to see in there from where you guys are. So what's this structure here?
Round ligament.
Mm-hmm. And between the uterus and the ovary is this short little cord-like structure. Ovarian ligament. And like the other model, we just saw labia majora, labia minora, hymen, rugae. And then what's this little recess here?
Fornix. Posterior.
Posterior
Yeah,
fornix.
posterior.
This part of the uterus that projects into the vagina here.
Cervix.
And this part up here.
Head of uterus.
Fundus.
Fundus.
And the next part in the middle,
Isthmus.
body.
Body.
And then between body and cervix, right in here, isthmus.
Isthmus.
Cervix, isthmus, body, fundus. And clitoris again. The glands. The same sphincters. That's about it on there. So on this part, what's this guy here? It's got a duct.
Greater vestibular gland.
Uh-huh. And then right next to it here,
Vestibular bulb.
Vestibular
or
bulb.
bulba vestibule. And then finally, this whole structure,
Oh, the cruise? Clitoris.
clitoris. And then what part of the clitoris is here?
The cruise.
Crus. And then here,
Glands.
body. And then right at the tip there, the glands. And these structures are on the outside of labia minora, or singular labia minus. And then somebody drew in some periurethral glands with black ink. If this lighter color is myometrium, what's this darker color just underneath it? What part? Stratum basalis. And then this lighter pink?
Stratum functionalis.
Stratum functionalis. And then what's the covering?
Perimetrium.
Parametrium. And then for the ovary, these dark red prongs, finger-like projections, fimbria, and they're extending from what part of the uterine tube? Infundibulum. And then you come back, and it gets, you have this wide region here called
Ampulla.
and then it narrows as you approach the uterus, and that is isthmus. Some models show it narrow better than others. This one doesn't really. It's all kind of the same width. And then you've got that really short ligament between the uterus and the ovary right here. Ovarian ligament. And then here's a mesentery that they've sectioned here. So all of this mesentery is called broad ligament. And then part of it up here that attaches to the uterine tube and the ovary would be, and I would only use a picture for it, but it's roughly in this area. So attached to the uterine tube is mesosalpinx, attached to the ovary, mesovarium, and then the rest of it here that's attached to the uterus, mesometrium. Right, 3 parts to the broad ligament. Here, what am I holding? And these bands, the red, cremaster muscle.
Cremaster.
And there's a pink tube that goes all the way around and all the way down through the cord. Ductus deferens or vas deferens. And the red vessel coming down here. Testicular artery, and the blue vessel coming up. That's a little further down.
Like
Testicular veins. Yeah. There's a double layered membrane, serous membrane, around the testis down here.
tunica vaginalis.
Tunica vaginalis. A layer of smooth muscle within the dermis of the skin.
Ductus.
Dartos.
Dartos.
This portion of the penis here. Bulb. And then the muscle here that surrounds the bulb and the proximal shaft. So all this muscle. It's bulbospongiosis. And then this muscle here surrounding the crus of one of the corpora cavernosa. Ischiocavernosus. How about the white? I need a penis.
You have one.
I can't use mine, sorry. So the white I was pointing to
No.
is here.
Tunica albuginea?
Mm-hmm. Tunica albuginea. So it doesn't form a complete septum or partition, which is why the paired bodies are paired. They're still connected, partially divided by that central partial partition. And then it wraps around on the outside. So all of that white on the outside is all corpora, or tunica albuginea. And then what part of the urethra is right there?
Spongiosum.
Corpus spongiosum, and then the erectile tissue around it?
Corpus. That's corpus spongiosum.
Corpus spongiosum. And then these two?
Cavernosa.
Corpora cavernosa. One of them, one half would be corpus cavernosum. And then the tissue of corpus spongiosum widens to form.
The glands.
It's all glans penis. That's it for this. If you follow corpus spongiosum all the way back, it widens again and forms the bulb. If you follow corpora cavernosa back,
That's the.
right, they diverge to the sides and they have the crura. And the crura is surrounded by ischiocavernosus. So right above the bulb is this little pink structure here with a duct. Bulbourethral.
Urethra.
And the duct opens into what? The gland secretes into
Urethra.
spongy urethra. This part of the urethra here is
Membranous urethra.
membranous, and here
Prostatic urethra.
Prostatic.
prostatic. And then if you start here, you go through the prostate and come out right there, that little tube there.
Ejaculatory.
That's ejaculatory duct, right? Small part of it there. What's this here?
That's the ambular device deferens.
Ampulla of ductus deferens, and then all this other tissue around it.
Oh, no.
Seminal vesicle or seminal gland. And this gland here,
Prostate.
prostate. Go down here, the network, pampiniform plexus, the pink tube coming up here,
Ductus deferens.
ductus deferens. This structure here on the testis,
Epididymis.
and the testis itself. They're both covered in that white connective tissue, which is
Tunica albuginea.
tunica
Tunica albuginea.
albuginea. Alright. The section that was made here allows you to see these bundles of muscle fibers coming down on the sides. That is cremaster again. And then within the dermis of the scrotal skin would be
Tartus.
what's this tube right up here?
Is that vas deferens?
And it does go down. That's the continuation of ductus deferens. So you can see pretty much all the same stuff. Pampiniform plexus, testicular artery, little cremaster muscle on the backside here. Epididymis, testis, tunica vaginalis around it. Well, that's a good one. So what's this muscle right here? Bulbospongiosis. Yep. I think I pointed kind of at both. Bulbospongiosis is here, and then these muscle fibers right here are part of ischiocavernosus. So that's where the corpora cavernosa diverge and become the crus. So the crus is surrounded by ischiocavernosus. And then the bulb of the penis and proximal shaft, bulbospongiosis, which is right here. And then inside of here, what's this tube that's going straight across?
Ejaculation.
The pasta, or the ejaculatory duct.
Mm-hmm. And the little tube going up here?
Urethra.
Prostatic urethra. So if we go backwards through the ejaculatory duct, it's going to open up into what here?
Where the
What part?
ampulla
This
of-
Ampulla of ductus deferens. Yep. And then what also contributes to the ejaculatory duct? I just can't really see it from this model.
Seminal glands.
Mhm. So one ampulla and one seminal gland converge to form one ejaculatory duct, and you have two, one on each side. So that one's really, this is a good model for the ejaculatory duct. It's a good model for bulbospongiosis and ischiocavernosus. Same things we have already seen, the white tissue, tunica albuginea, surrounding a corpus cavernosum on one side.